Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wacky. Today I just wanted to take some time to talk about this new game in early access called Off the Grid. I'm sure you've heard about it before. I've been seeing it all over YouTube, and I just put a few hours into it last night, so I wanted to take some time to talk about it today. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. I'm trying to grow this channel, and any support in doing so is greatly appreciated. I upload typically once a week on Mondays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, but I am working on a bunch of videos right now, so hopefully I can get some backed up so that I can have them roll out more consistently and more often. I've also gotten a new microphone to try to step up the quality of my commentaries and just any voice audio going forward. And with that also being said, I do have a bit of a sore throat today, so if I sound weird at all, it's most likely from that or the fact that I have cough drops in my mouth. So with all that out of the way, let's just jump right into it and start discussing this game. I'm going to start off with performance because from what I've been seeing, this is a very hot topic for this game right now. On PC, the performance issues seem to be worse than on console, but on PS5, I have had some performance problems. I haven't had any crashes or anything, but I have had a lot of inconsistent frame rates and my console struggling to even keep a consistent 60 FPS. And it's like, I get it, I'm playing on console, but there's plenty of games on console that run at a consistent 120. And I also understand this game's in early access, so I'm not trying to just shit all over it. These issues can be fixed. Performance-wise, though, other than the frame dips, all I've gotten is some stuttering every now and then. It definitely, as would be expected, typically seems to run a lot better when you're indoors and not in a big-ass, wide-open area. But that's really all I've experienced performance issue-wise, so moving on to hit detection. The hit detection definitely feels like it can be a little wonky sometimes, and I don't know if it's maybe just I'm not used to the game and how it feels yet, so I'm missing all these shots, but sometimes it feels like I'm aiming right where I need to be and my shots are not connecting. Honestly, I feel like that's all that really needs to be said about the hit detection, so moving on to the limbs in the game. There is a whole limb system in this game where you can find legs and arms on the ground that have special abilities, and you start with ones that don't do anything. I'm not going to go into all the different abilities, but just as an example, there is a pair of legs that when you activate it, it will shoot you into the air, and then you can select an area you want to do a sort of like superhero ground pound on that has a area of effect, I believe. And then just as an example for the arms, there is one that lets you call in a mortar strike, and there's one that shoots like gasoline or oil all over the ground and lights it on fire. Your arms and legs can also be shot off in a gunfight, and if your legs get shot off, obviously you're crawling around on the floor like a fucking crawler from Call of Duty Zombies. If you get an arm shot off, you can still fire your weapon, but you are a lot less accurate. But I think overall, I do like this system. It's unique. I've never seen anything like this in another BR at least. And while some of the abilities for the limbs definitely need to be balanced or tweaked in some way, and maybe some don't even, and I just don't like them personally. Like, there are a pair of legs that lets you sprint very fast, and any teammates that are right behind you will also get the effect, sort of like Lucio from Overwatch. I do like this ability for traversal reasons, but when you're in a gunfight and someone activates this and starts zooming around, it is nearly impossible to track them. At least that's how I feel. And again, maybe I just need to play the game more and get used to how it feels and everything to be able to get that down and be able to track people that are zooming around. But it does feel like they are just too fast to be able to track them and even accurately hit them, especially because they can change direction in an instant at any given moment. But again, overall, I do like this system. I think it's very unique, especially for a BR, and I am honestly kind of excited to see what kind of ideas they can come up with for new limbs in the future. Even if I don't play this game in the long term, I think this, again, is a very unique and fun system, and I can't wait to see kind of how they explore that creatively going forward. Now moving on to the gunplay, because I feel like I've said pretty much all I can say, especially with my limited playtime on the limbs. The gunplay does feel good in this game. The weapons aren't very weighty though. They're definitely more arcadey, and this game definitely isn't going for any sort of realism, if you know what I mean. But the weapons definitely are fun to use. I think there's a bit too many burst weapons, though, to be honest. I think there's like 2 or 3 burst ARs and 1 or 2 burst SMGs, which can, right now at least, sort of make the game feel like a lot of, like, or if not most of the weapon pool is burst weapons, which I don't generally have a problem with using burst weapons. It just, like I said, it feels like most of the weapons in the game right now are burst weapons. Some of the recoil patterns as well, at least to me, feel a bit weird. Maybe it's just the feel they're going for. They don't, again, I haven't put a lot of playtime into this game, but they don't generally really feel predictable. They feel more random, and it may just be a personal preference, but I am generally more into predictable recoil patterns. I like that skill gap of putting playtime into the game with certain weapons and just having the muscle memory of being able to control the recoil. But again, I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't put a ton of playtime into the game. This is just more of like a first impressions type of video. But moving on now to the controls, and obviously since I'm playing on PS5, I am a controller player. I believe most of the controls are generally fine. The flight controls are really the only ones that I have an issue with. You control all of your aerial movement with, I believe it was the left stick, and it just feels a bit too touchy, and really just too touchy and sensitive, which actually reminds me that the sensitivity in this game also feels a bit strange. I couldn't seem to nail down getting the sensitivity to be just right. It always seemed either too fast or way too slow. And that goes for both the general look sensitivity and the ADS sensitivity. Again, maybe I just need to mess with it more, but just at least to me, in my opinion, it always felt like it was either way too fast or way too slow, and I couldn't get it to feel just right for me. Now moving on to the camera perspective, I have seen a lot of discussion of people not really liking that this is a third-person shooter. For me, it doesn't really bother me. I'm fine with third or first person. The only thing I don't like about third person is the third-person camera peeking around corners, which I do also understand. Some people will argue that that is its own skill gap to really learn how to take advantage of the third-person camera. I just feel in a lot of games it can just feel very cheesy and like you just died to some bullshit, you know what I mean? Because this guy was just using his camera to peek around a corner instead of actually facing you and having to fight you. But I do feel like they definitely know what they're doing with the third person perspective. The camera doesn't feel too far back or too close, at least for me. There is no option to expand the field of view at all, which I'm perfectly fine with now. At first I was bummed out by it, but then I realized that could really exacerbate the problem of people cheesing the fuck out of the third person perspective. I feel like I've said all I can about the camera, so now I'm going to move on to the map itself. The map is quite large, but all the POIs do feel unique and like they've got their own place on the map, which I do appreciate because a lot of these games can end up having the feeling of the POIs just being a bunch of random crap they threw down on the map instead of it being actually thought out and like, would this actually be fun to play and fight in this area? But at least in my experience from all the POIs that I have visited in my playtime, they've all been fun to fight in and feel like they are thought out with the rest of the game's mechanics and not just a bunch of bullshit cover and crap that they just threw on the map and were like, here, that's good. There is, as you probably could have seen from the gameplay, a lot of very tall buildings in some areas of the map, but unlike Verdansk, there's actually more than one way to get up them other than just a staircase, which again just makes them feel a lot more thought out and makes them a lot more fun to actually try to fight for to get that height advantage on other people. And with all that being said, I think that really concludes my thoughts on the game so far. Again, it is an early access, so I'm not trying to just shit all over the game. I'm just providing my opinion on different aspects of the game, and if you agree or disagree, always love to have discussions. Let me know how you feel about the game down in the comments below and any of the points that I've made. And in the description of every video, there is a link to my Discord server and a link to my Twitter. Feel free to join the Discord or follow me on Twitter. I don't really post very much on Twitter, and I'm still trying to get it all set up and everything. But if you'd like to, go ahead and drop me a follow over there. And again, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a like and a subscribe. In the future, I would like to cover single player games as well. I also do funny moments, which are typically a lot better than my commentaries because I'm still trying to get used to making this style of video. I've really been focused on funny moments type stuff for most of the time that I've ever made YouTube videos in my life. So if you have any feedback for the commentary videos, let me know down below. I always love and appreciate constructive criticism, and I read anything that's put in the comments and take it into account going forward. That's why I even got the this better microphone. But yeah, I appreciate any support you're willing to provide. And I think I'm just gonna let the last little bit of this gameplay play out and let you guys watch it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Vital signs improving.
Enemy down!
Armor plates at maximum supply.
Enemy spotted!
Just last 3 minutes of fucking nice.
Enemy down!
The safe zone's shifting. Walk on rollerblades. Move your metal asses now.
Let's check this area out.
Armor fully loaded.
The safe zone is shifting. Move your ass out of here.
Armor plates require resupply. Teammate injured. Health metric increasing.
Well done, team.
Armor fully loaded.